On the occasion of the upcoming Oscar Gala, where it seems that Oppenheimer is the Academy's clear favorite, we've decided to interview the person in which this film is based. Hello Oppie, how are you today?
Morally tormented.
So, do you feel qualified to conduct the interview?
Please start whenever you want.
Sure. To start off, why did you decide to study physics in Europe instead of doing it in the United States, your native country?
I began to be interested in physics at Harvard University, specifically while taking the thermodynamic course taught by Professor Prince Bridgman. But in the United States, very few centers dedicated part of their curricula to this subject, so I decided to continue my studies in Europe. Thus, I was accepted as a graduate student at the Cavendish Laboratory of Cambridge, which at that time was situated by the Nobel laureate Ernest Rutherford.
But what do you think of the MIT physics department? Why didn't you study in this American institution?
You're serious? Don't you know that was basically a creation of mine?
Sure. To continue with, how do you think the world has changed since you were in the Manhattan Project?
The world is now aware of the self-destructive power of human beings, so conflicts are no longer as abundant as in the past. The nuclear threat is still as important as it was on the first day, but the fear of doom is perhaps what has led to the fact that there are no longer as many conflicts on a global scale as in the last century. But what is the cost of this peace, of the population's fear? Can then still be considered peace?
Next question. Do you consider that the movement to disgrade you was a witch hunt?
In this day and age it could be considered as such, but we have to take into account that those were different times. We lived in turbulent times, World War II and then the Cold War, so any person who thought differently from his government could be persecuted by the justice system for fear that he was a spy or a traitor. I was accused of being a communist, and although I like some of the proposals of that doctrine, I never considered myself as such. But the fact that I was affiliated with the Communist Party and had some links with communist people was a perfect excuse to start the process that would end up discouraging me.
Knowing that there was a slim but real possibility that the atomic bombs would start a chain reaction that would destroy the entire world, why did you decide to go ahead?
For us, the risk was worth it. The mere thought that the Nazis might also be researching how to make atomic bomb terrified us at the thought of what they used I'd give it to them. And besides, we knew that this was going to end the war, and although the Nazis surrendered when Hitler committed suicide, we knew that the Japanese would fight till the end. So the attack on Pearl Harbor was a perfect excuse to drop the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But now I think that Little Boy and Fat Man should have never been dropped. I've seen the images of the damage they have caused, and I don't know if it was right to use it for the war.
How did you feel when you saw the results of the Trinity test at Los Alamos?
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed, few people cried, most people were sad. I remember the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him, takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I'm become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.